This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I am joined by Representative Michael John Gray. He is the House Minority Leader, at least for a few more days. And he is the most recently elected Democratic Party of Arkansas Chairman. What title are we supposed to use with you? Representative, Minority Leader, Chairman?
So, depending on where we are, but I got told real quick Saturday night that once we get to Augusta, it's Michael John. That there'll be none of that Mr. Chairman around my house.
I like it. So let's talk about, I'm thinking that you were not elected Chairman of the Democratic Party of Arkansas to continue the status quo necessarily. What does the Democratic Party of Arkansas need to do differently? What are you going to do differently?
So, status quo is something that's always argued back and forth, but what the Democratic Party has to do differently is reconnect a little bit, not rebrand. We're on the right side of issues. We're fighting for the right people. We're fighting for people, which is the right issue. We're just not talking about it. We're not telling people what we're doing. So we have a real challenge of just getting that message out, breaking through some of the 5:30 news talk and get to the 6 o'clock news, what's really affecting people in Arkansas.
Yeah. Are you tied to what happens nationally with the Democratic Party, and I guess even conversely, what happens to the Republican Party, or because of President Trump? That seemed to be a lot of what happened over the last 8 years with Democrats in Arkansas. They could not shake what was a stigma for at least rural Democrats in Arkansas, the Obama White House.
Well, I think it's a stigma. I think it was also we were kind of lost. Do we run from a message? Do we embrace a message? And I think we made some real mistakes doing both. The president was very successful, and people in Arkansas that are insured that never had an opportunity for health insurance, and we didn't own that. We didn't own that enough. We ran from it. We were scared of it, and then this fear, this national noise that's really distracting people from the issues, kind of got in the way. So Arkansas's got to look at Arkansas. We would hope that nationally the party would take a look at really understanding that Democrats are Democrats because they fight for people, and we need to own that a little bit.
I don't have to tell you that Donald Trump is immensely popular in Arkansas. We've seen it in a lot of the polling data. You've probably been privy to some internal stuff that I haven't even seen. He was not necessarily a Republican candidate, hasn't always been, and even some of the things he espouses now are not necessarily mainstream Republican viewpoints there. Do you try to woo Trump voters? What do you say to those Trump voters?
Yeah, I think Donald Trump himself is not popular here. I think there was a lot of anti-Clinton vote, honestly, in the state. And I think there was a lot of, we've always wanted somebody that wasn't a politician, somebody that would cut through the partisan noise a little bit and sometimes tell it like it is. I don't agree with how Trump told it, but I think there were people just looking for something different, a chance to push the reset button a little bit. And I think we'll do some wooing, but I think it's really conversations, just saying, hey, understand maybe you're not comfortable with this issue, but let's look at it this way. Let's talk about it in realistic terms. Let's talk about that if you're in rural Arkansas and 2 people have a heart attack in the town at the same time, one of them's getting an ambulance and one of them's waiting an hour till the ambulance gets back. And those are real issues that really, those are what I like to call the kitchen table issues, and I think we talk about those.
What are you going to do? I know you got to get a little bit of, get a little bit of momentum under your I guess at your back, sort of, because you're going to be walking into a party apparatus that you might not be 100% familiar with. What will you do maybe in the first couple of weeks, first couple of months as party chairman?
So the first thing I'll do, and I'll hopefully have it done by the end of the day today, if not first thing tomorrow, is reach out to all the elected officials, Democrat elected officials in the state, to say the party is behind you. We know you've had immense pressure locally to go with the popular wave, so to speak, but you're a Democrat because you care about people and you want to fight for your local issues. And just let those officials know that we're here to have a conversation and that their county committees are behind them, that the Democrats in their hometowns are behind them, and just really shore that up.
Is that an advantage that you have being a state representative and maybe wishing what the party may have done more for?
It's a perspective. It's a perspective of knowing that people need to feel like they're a part of something and should feel like they're a part of something. And we have people that are carrying our banner that we should really put our arms around and say thank you for being Democrats in this environment that's not necessarily friendly to Democrats.
It may have happened historically, but I am not aware of it, where there's been an elected state legislator who is serving as the chairman of the Democratic Party. You obviously build bridges in the state legislature across party lines. As a matter of fact, there was a lot of compliments from a lot of Republican current and former lawmakers about your ability to work with them across the aisle. at the same time, there are going to be times where you're going to get to take a little skin off of them. How are you going to kind of do that balance?
So that's fair. So it hadn't happened in Arkansas, but it does happen in other states. I mean, there are states where the Speaker of the House is also the chairman of the party, so it's not an unheard of thing. I asked some of our Republican colleagues to temper their compliments a little bit, at least till the election was over. But no, I think it's about going after policies. I mean, so you talk about Donald Trump, 70% of Arkansas voted, or 60 whatever percent of Arkansas voted for Donald Trump. It does no good to just scream at the people that voted for him. It's having that conversation about why we're on the right side of the policies and he's on the wrong side of the policies. So at the Capitol, it's the same way. It's not personal. But if you're hurting people, we're going to call you out on it, and they understand that.
Yeah. What's going to mark success for you? Is it going to be building up the numbers in the state legislature? Is it going to be a return to a number of candidates at the statewide level or the federal level? Is it money raised? Is it organization? What's going to be success in your eyes?
So in my eyes, it's we can't grow our party till the people that are part of our party are excited about being a part of the party. And when you can ask any Democrat out there why they're a Democrat or what we stand for, and to be able to no more of this, I'm running as a Democrat, I'm proud to be a Democrat, I think that's the mark. Once we start doing that, once we get that message out there that Democrats are the party that's fighting for people, regardless of the issues, social issues, economic issues, when we break through that noise, that's success. Numbers will come after that.
Candidate recruitment, always a big part of a party chairman's role there, as well as a political director. So have you already figured out who's running for governor in 2018 as a Democrat?
Oh, we've got them lining up. We've got them lining up. So.
The current governor, would like to know who they are.
I'm sure he would. We'll definitely have a great candidate in the race.
All right. Well, we'll give you a little more time in there before we start talking about that a little bit more. He is Representative Michael John Gray. He's the House Minority Leader. He's the new chairman of the Democratic Party of Arkansas. Thank you. Come back on this show.
Absolutely. Enjoyed
All right.
it.
Thank you so much. We're back with more right after this.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us. Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
All right, welcome back. I'm joined by Brett Parker. He's the Director of Media Services for Little Rock-based Stone Ward. Good to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Thank you. So you get to play in media space all the time, and you've been down in the great state of Austin.
It was hot, yes.
And crowded.
Very crowded, very much of a technology base. It was awesome to be there, learn some good insights that I'm excited to share today.
You were at the South by Southwest Festival, which is just one of the biggest tech festivals. Did you stick around for the music?
We didn't have time to stick around for the music as much. We got some good food, some cold beer, and it was good to see it, but did not have time for the music.
Tell me about the crazy pace of South by Southwest. It's just grown so exponentially over the years, but it's just also... It's hard, I think, for people who haven't experienced it. I just see pictures and I know enough that I don't want to be in that crowd.
Yeah, so I actually was there back when I was a youngin', when I was an intern at an agency in Austin, GSD&M. We started South by Southwest. So I got to see it mature over the course of the year. So when I first started, you had a handful of people, a handful of tech hubs. Now today, for those that haven't been, it's the Walt Disney World of technology. If you want to see artificial intelligence, or if you want to see robotics or any new emerging technology, those are the people in the industry, from Amazon to Facebook to Google. Any top technology person is going to be there.
So how do you organize for a trip like that? Because there's more conferences than you and your team can go attend and cover. How do you kind of prioritize, here's what we're going to work on, and just how do you prep for that?
It's tough, and without knowing a number, it's probably more than 500 sessions. Of those sessions, they are divided into 3 tiers. We are in the technology sphere. So with that, you have to analyze based on what you want to learn. So for media, I want to learn what the most emerging medias are going to be. How is that going to transition into the future? How will that change consumer dynamics? So it's a lot to plan for, but once you get into those panels, it really helps for the future.
Yeah, so let's talk about a couple of the panels that you attended. I think one of the first ones that you turned kind of a brief for us on, a little analysis, was the short attention span of the average person being advertised
Yes.
to. How short is it?
5 seconds. You have 5
It's not
seconds
that
to
long.
get someone's attention right then and right there. It's 5 seconds from a marketing standpoint in a digital world. That's how much you have to make an impact to me as a consumer. There's been neurological tests done on this where they study brain waves of how interesting an advertisement is done to you. So we are in an ADD culture. I have a son. We were talking, you have a son. I'm sure you've seen everyone walking around looking at their smartphones.
You're talking about dinner time at our house, yeah.
That's
right.
every time at our house. It's dinner time, movie time, sports time. You've got to make an impact. And within the palm of your hand is so much advertising clutter. How does a marketer stand out? How does a business stand out to its consumers?
How do you do that? Do you have to be clever? Do you have to be loud? Do you have to, what do you have to do?
There's a lot of different attributes that you have to design your ad to do. So within the first 5 seconds, let's get your attention. How do you get your attention? You have to remain relevant to your audience. Marketers today are still doing adults 18 to 49 in their targeting. That is completely different than where we are today. We had a panel guy up there, he's 55 years old. He is getting AARP magazines because he fits that demographic, yet he is in a brand new job, CEO level, has a brand new kid. He would much prefer getting Pampers coupons than AARP magazine subscriptions, but that's the mindset that we're in, is we have to target by age opposed to interest. So you're going to see a big flip in the future of targeting based on interest level versus age. So instead of targeting males 18 to 49, let's go males who like skiing. Let's do males who like skiing and own a golden retriever. That's the kind of marketing that we need to stand out to remain relevant.
That segues into kind of another piece that you wrote for us, knowing your market. You used an example of how the National Hockey League really kind of expanded into the South of all places because they knew what they were looking for in terms of targeting their market. Maybe take what you just said and apply it to that.
That's the exact same thing. So we're an SEC country, football territory, love football, love cooking, love ribs, love baseball. Hockey's always an afterthought. There's no hockey programs here locally. NHL talked about that in the South. It's really hard to break in. How do you compete against an NFL? How do you compete against the NBA with billions of marketing dollars over the course of 5 to 10 years? How do you do that? NHL, just like you said, figured out, instead of trying to throw so much money at the general public, let's find those niche audiences, those hardcore hockey fans, target them individually by interest, and grow from there. By doing that, they were able to incorporate high school programs. They were able to incorporate added value sponsorships that pertain to those core customer interests, and now it's grown exponentially. They're the third or fourth largest sport program in the world now.
That's interesting stuff. All right, you and I could probably talk for like another hour or
Oh my
so,
gosh,
but our
so
time
much
doesn't
stuff.
allow us to do that. So, Brett Parker, Stone Ward.
Thanks, Roby.
Good to be with you. Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much. All right, that's all for today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. Thanks for watching.